Over half the students in the New York City school system don't speak English at home. You know what that means? It means we're doomed if we don't reverse course. You have to have a common language in a country. This from The Guardian, not from an American newspaper. The U.S. now has more Spanish speakers than Spain. Only Mexico has more. The report says there are 41 million native Spanish speakers in the U.S., plus a further 11.6 million who are bilingual, mainly the children of Spanish-speaking immigrants. This puts the U.S. ahead of Colombia, Spain, and second only to Mexico. Among the sources cited in the report, the U.S. Census Office, which estimates that the U.S. will have 138 million Spanish speakers by 2050, making it the biggest Spanish-speaking nation on earth, with Spanish the mother tongue of almost a third of its citizens. So let me put it to you this way. Having failed under all Republican presidents, all, to secure the border, to administer and manage properly our immigration system, to strengthen the American culture, to adhere to the rule of law, both equal and justice. Now the Republicans have thrown in with the Democrats because the Republicans have helped create this situation. By state, the highest concentration is in the former Spanish colonies of the South. Now, it's interesting they would put it that way, the former Spanish colonies of the Southwest. New Mexico tops at 47%. California, Texas, both 38%. Arizona, 30%. Some 18% of New Yorkers speak Spanish, while only 1.3% of West Virginians do. Perhaps surprisingly, more than 6% of Alaskans are Spanish speakers. And so it goes. So we should be celebrating this. I don't know how we're going to not even improve the society, sustain it, once we lose the English language. And once our founding documents have to be bilingual. We can't even interpret them properly, the Supreme Court can't, in plain old English. And we're told, like Carter said and others, this is all inevitable. Just move along, accept it, just compromise, do what you can. It's inevitable. America's changing and searching for the better because America sucks and it needs to change. And what better way to change than to import millions and millions of people from the third world, including people whose backgrounds are never checked, who come into our cities and do destructive things. Not all. Why do I have to keep saying that? But too many, particularly if you're a victim. We've come a long way in 100 years when you had to go through places like Ellis Island and you had to demonstrate that you were here legally. You had to show papers. You had to show that you weren't sick. You didn't have a communicable disease. You had to show that you had a job, that you wouldn't be a draw on the meager welfare type programs that they had in the states and the cities. You also had to show that you had somewhere to stay. Today, it's quite the opposite. And if you dare to raise these issues, you're attacked. And when 2044 comes, and it will come just 30 years from now. Think about that, just 30 years from now. 30 years ago, we were in the middle of the Reagan administration. 30 years from now, Joe Biden is celebrating the fact that America won't be the same anymore. Imagine then speaking up. Imagine then speaking up, talking about the rule of law and securing the border. Imagine then, when the majority is the minority, the intolerance that will ensue then. Look, folks, you and I, we're very tolerant people. We're open-minded people. Many of you listening to me, I don't know what race you are, what religion you are, what background you are, but we share essentially one thing. We're Americans. When you water that down, when you water down or eliminate assimilation, or what I call Americanization, well, what do you have left? You have a nation filled with people from all over the place that have nothing in common. You have a disaster.